In a quiet California suburb, the holiday season brings comfort, routine, and trust. A young couple appears settled, expecting a child, planning a future that seems certain. But beneath that carefully presented image, something is already fracturing. When a pregnant woman vanishes without warning, the illusion of normalcy collapses, revealing a story of betrayal, secrets, and choices that will forever define one of America's most disturbing criminal cases, long before the truth fully emerges into public view and changes everything for everyone involved forever thereafter, across the nation watching closely. Lacey Peterson was known for her warm personality, strong family bonds, and excitement about becoming a mother. Friends described her as optimistic, organized, and deeply devoted to her unborn son, Connor. Living in Modesto, she spent her days preparing for the holidays, walking the family dog, and planning for a future centered on family. Nothing about her routine suggested danger. She trusted the life she had built, unaware that someone closest to her was already leading her toward a tragic and irreversible outcome that would soon shock the entire country and leave a lasting mark on modern criminal history forever, through media coverage, courtrooms, and public memory for decades afterward. Scott and Lacey Peterson met young and married after a brief courtship, presenting themselves as stable and content. Outwardly, their marriage appeared ordinary. Privately, Scott was carrying on an affair, telling another woman he was unattached and free. He described his wife in the past tense, months before she disappeared. These deceptions created a double life built on lies, where truth shifted depending on the audience. As expectations grew at home, his stories elsewhere became more reckless, setting the foundation for a betrayal that would eventually be exposed through investigation, testimony, and documented communications later used against him during criminal proceedings in courtrooms nationwide after her disappearance became public. On Christmas Eve 2002, Lacey Peterson was last seen at home that morning. Scott later claimed she planned to walk the dog before disappearing. When she failed to return, family members reported her missing. Police responded quickly, initially treating the case as a search for a vulnerable pregnant woman. Media attention exploded, transforming a local disappearance into a national story. Volunteers searched neighborhoods and parks, while investigators documented statements and movements. As days passed without progress, public concern shifted toward suspicion, and attention increasingly focused on those closest to Lacey during the final hours before she vanished completely from her expected daily routine without explanation, leaving authorities under immense pressure to deliver answers swiftly to a watching public. Investigators soon identified inconsistencies in Scott Peterson's behavior, including calm public appearances and changing accounts of his whereabouts. The discovery of his affair dramatically altered the investigation, suggesting motive and deception. Police learned he had been fishing alone the day Lacey disappeared, drawing attention to the San Francisco Bay. Months later, remains believed to be Lacey and her unborn child washed ashore near where he had traveled. Prosecutors assembled circumstantial evidence, including financial records, phone activity, and witness statements. Surveillance showed him living normally while the search continued. Together, these details formed a narrative of premeditation, argued carefully by prosecutors as they prepared to present their case before a jury tasked with deciding guilt based solely on evidence and reasonable inference rather than emotion or public pressure. Surrounding the high-profile nature of the crime itself during trial proceedings that captivated national audiences daily through televised coverage and analysis shows. Scott Peterson was arrested in April 2003 and later stood trial for murder. Prosecutors outlined their case over months of testimony. In 2004, a jury found him guilty. He was sentenced to death, later commuted to life without parole. The verdict brought closure for some, while appeals and public debate continued for years, keeping the case in ongoing legal discussion and media review long after the trial ended formally in court records available publicly today online. This case revealed how deception within intimate relationships can carry devastating consequences. Lacey Peterson's story endures as a warning about betrayal, trust, and the cost of choices made in secrecy, remembered through justice, memory, and the life she never lived.